Here's another thing. Y'all finish this phrase that we used to say all the time. Serve in one, receive in another. What serve in one, receive in another means, if you're new, is that we've always had 2 church services for the last 15 years or more. And the best way that we can help our church grow in grace is if you'll say Sunday morning is the Lord's Day, and I don't mean by the Lord's Day personally that I'm just going to pick one church service and go to it. I'm going to be there for both. It's usually going to help me if I have children. I'm going to serve in one. I'm going to help the church pull one of those church services off, volunteering in some way. And in the other one, I'm only going to receive. I'm just going to go to that meeting, and I'm going to take it all in. I'm going to sing the songs. I'm going to hear the preaching, and I'm going to say, God, what do you have for me? But in that other service, I'm going to say, God, what would you have me do to serve the body? Does that make sense? The reason that's important is from time to time, churches like ours look up and we're trying to disciple people, and here's what happens. We have folks that will say, I will work in the children's ministry, Pastor, or Jen, put me down, and she'll go, great, I need you in the 11 o'clock service to work with the 4th graders. I've just made that up. Is that a thing, Jen? Sort more or less? Okay. And then you look up, and that person who needs the means of grace, who needs to hear the preaching of the word so that her or his heart can be humbled by God, who needs to be in the room when the church is praying for them and for whatever, who needs to be where the Spirit is speaking, will look up, and they didn't live life on purpose, and they slept in on Sunday, and they came at 11 o'clock just to serve, and they just worked with the 4th graders. It was a bad day with the 4th grade. They were unruly and difficult. This gal or this guy had 1 hour. They gave it to Jesus to serve. They didn't come receive, and they left with a bad experience. And they didn't realize it, but it was their fault. Because they didn't put any margin in their life to go, I'm needy spiritually, and so, I'm just not giving God in the church 3 hours. Hey, can I tell you? Give God in the church 3 hours. You got 168 of them, and the devil gets 165 of them. Think about it. The world system does. So I'm challenging you. You know what the problem is, me saying this on this night? It's none of you that I know of. But you got to help us be the grace police. You got to deputize yourself to rescue your friends from getting burned out, working in the children, working on the doors, whatever it is we do on Sunday. If you look up and you notice, they're only here when we put them on the schedule, and they're never in this room worshiping the Lord with us. The enemy wants them to wants them to feel guilty if they don't come serve, and wants them to stay in that rut and never receive. What we want to do is we want to be able to say this, hey, thanks for coming at 11. We know you're going to help with the kids. We got somebody that can take your place. We got a seat for you in the court, and the Lord's got a great word for you that day. Does that make sense? Now, you're going to be the person that can help that person come in here because you served or you received in the 9 o'clock, and we might be able to say, hey, we need you to do emergency duty so that one of your brothers and sisters can come and receive the means of grace from the Lord. We can't be a church that's afraid to ask people to be committed to Jesus. And as your pastor, I'm not going to apologize for that. Does that make sense? We got to shepherd people, and sheep sometimes wander off. So how does that sound? Is that good?